Hey, welcome to How to Play, brought to you by the Games Capital. Today we're looking at The Mysterious Forest, which is a children's game for ages 6 plus, 2 to 4 players, takes about 20 minutes. The game is actually based on a comic called the Wormworld Saga. Don't know a lot about it, but that's what it's based on. This game was actually just nominated for the 2017 Kinderspiel des Jahres, which is Children's Game of the Year. It's a cooperative game, so all of the players will be working together towards a common goal, and it has a memory element to it, so you need to remember certain things in order to complete the game, but more on that in a moment. First of all, let's have a look at what's in the box. Okay, so the main part of the game is this series of cards. There are forest cards, there are wanderer cards, and there are final battle cards. The idea is that we're going to be travelling through the forest to this ultimate goal of defeating the evil queen, who's represented here. The character that we're playing is Jonas. Nice little figurine here of him. We also have a board which depicts Jonas's backpack, and we're going to store various equipment tokens, which are here, these little circular tokens. There's a whole heap of different equipment. As well as that, there are also these little Loki tokens. Now, Loki is a little animal that assists Jonas in his travel, so there's those tokens. There are also these little wanderer tokens, more on that in a moment, and 4 dice that depict the various equipment that you'll use to gather those during the game. Alright, so that's the equipment or the components for the game. Let's have a look at how this game works. Okay, so to begin with, what we've got to do is create the forest path that Jonas is going to travel on. So we'll take, there's a start card, so you pop that first, and then you would take your forest cards. Now, depending on how difficult you want to make the game, there are a few variations on how you can set up this, this path. But as an example, you would take forest cards, shuffle them, and place 4 forest cards to begin with, all face down. Then you would take 1 of these wanderer cards, pop it in, and then 2 more forest cards. And then finally, 1 of these final battle cards goes at the very end. Then you'll take the queen, pop her at the end, that's where you're heading. Jonas starts on the first card, the start card. The game is actually divided into 3 phases. The first phase is scouting out the path. So during the scouting the path phase, the players are going to be looking at these various path cards and will need to memorise the equipment that they're going to need in order to make the journey. So to do that, you will turn the first card over and reveal it. Now on each of these cards, there is equipment token symbols. Some of them have 2, some have 3. You'll get to look at that card and figure out a way or a method that you're going to be able to remember those. So whether one person remembers a certain symbol type or however you want to do it, you must try and remember that, that card. So you'll look at the first one, then you'll reveal the second one, examine those tokens, so on, all the way down to the very end. By then you'll have seen all the tokens that are needed in order to make it through to defeat the queen. It's just a matter of being able to remember those as a team. All right, then the second part of the turn is filling up your backpack with equipment, so collecting that equipment. So in this phase, you're going to be filling up your backpack with the various equipment tokens that you need in order to make it through to the end. To do that, each player will in turn take the 4 dice, roll the dice, and of the 4 symbols that are rolled, you can choose 2 of those to take tokens and add them to the backpack. Now, on the dice there are also these little Loki symbols. Now, if you roll one of those symbols, you must take a Loki token and then 1 other token. If you roll 2 of these Loki tokens, then you have to take 2 of those. Now, they're different to the regular equipment. The way they work, there's 2 different types of Loki tokens. One of them has this little symbol with a question mark on it. What that means is when we get to the point where we might need to play this token, you can use that to swap for any token that you may need. The other Loki token, or type of Loki token, will contain various other equipment tokens which you can use to take one of the ones that are pictured. So they can be quite useful. Just depends what situation you're in. But if you roll those Loki symbols, then you have to take those tokens. All right, so the game continues rolling and collecting these equipment tokens until the backpack is completely full. Then third phase begins, the actual journey. Okay, so this part of the game is quite simple. You just turn over the first card, move Jonas onto it, and fill up the card with the appropriate equipment tokens from your backpack. Take those tokens and add them to the card. Once you've done that, if you've been able to complete the card, then you will flip over the next card and do the same thing, adding tokens as you need from your backpack. If you cannot fulfill one of those equipment tokens, then you can elect, or you must use one of the Loki tokens. So you flip that over and it will either allow you to exchange it for a token that you need, or it will be collect a specific token to add to your backpack. You'll keep doing that until you can fulfill all of the requirements of that card, and then you'll move on to the next card and so on. You'll continue that way until it gets to the point where you either reach the end or you cannot add tokens to the card. If that's the case, then you lose the game. Otherwise, you continue on. Now, eventually you're going to reach this Wanderer card. Now, the Wanderer card is a little bit different. There's a few different variations of these, but basically what you can do, if you like, at this point, is exchange tokens, and some of them require in this case, three different tokens. Some of them require a pair of the same tokens. Some require any 4 tokens, just depends. If you choose to do that from your backpack, then you will get 2 of these Wanderer tokens to add to this particular card. What that allows you to do is at any point in the journey, you can exchange one of these Wanderer tokens for any 2 tokens, equipment tokens that you may need. So that can be quite powerful. However, it obviously uses up tokens that you may or may not need. You can choose not to fulfill that at all. You just move on to the next forest card if you like, continuing on until you get to the very last card, which is the final battle with the Queen. Usually there's 4 tokens that you require for that final card. If you can still play those tiles from your backpack, then you've won. You've defeated the Queen and you're victorious. And that basically is the Mysterious Forest. In summary, players must work together to remember which equipment they will need to complete their journey. In the first phase, they will memorise the equipment. In the second phase, they will gather the equipment. In the third phase, they will travel through the mysterious forest using the equipment they've collected. If they can make it all the way and defeat the Queen, they win. So, the Mysterious Forest, great little game. Beautiful components, nice artwork. The gameplay itself is great. That memory element combined with a cooperative game is quite interesting. It certainly inspires teamwork in that you have to figure out what the best way is going to be for you to remember all of these different tokens that you need in order to complete the journey. Certainly a worthy nominee for the Kids Game of the Year. So if you've got kids aged, say, between 6 and 10, then this is going to be a great addition to your gaming collection. Okay, thanks for watching. Happy gaming.